Boolean field mostly, bestseller, yes or no, like that. Okay, something like that. Yes. Okay. So just like that, you can work on different models. Try to create your own models and see. Also, we have foreign key relationships. We have don't worry about primary key and all. We have foreign key, many to many, one to many, many to one. All these types of relationships we have in a field. Okay, and we can create all these things. But for a base scale, for now, we are not bothered about that. Our main motive is how, what's the use of this? How we are going to access all these things. Correct? How we are going to access all these things. Something like that. Thus, yeah, see, whenever you are typing anything in that password, no, you are not going to see anything, but it will type. Okay? It is going to type. Do one thing. Try to create one more new virtual environment and try to install Django in that and do it from the beginning. One small project you create. It hardly takes 1 hour to do all these things, whatever I have shown you so far. It hardly takes 1 hour. So, yeah. Okay. Let us learn today how to do CRUD operations. Okay. Now, I could have directly showed you the CRUD operations into our views, how we can get all the elements from our database, all the elements which are present into our database, how we can get those elements, how we can create new data. I could have done it directly in the views, but no, I don't want to do that. I want you guys to learn from the very scratch. Okay, just like initially you started out with ideally, correct? Not even proper ideally. You used to just write one line of code and then press enter. It was showing you something like this, right? See, ideally something like this. We were doing here. You, do you understand what is a shell? Where you can pass different commands and run there itself. Okay. Yeah. This is kind of a shell. Your main ideally is when you open new file here and start writing this. This is your development area. This is your workspace. Okay. But before that, you always learned all these things. Correct. Before that, you learned all those commands using this shell only first. Correct. So that is what we are going to do first. Okay. In Django also we have a shell. Okay, we have some type of shell. Now how do we go into that shell and all, we will see. Okay, and using this shell we are going to make queries to the database. Now one query, one of the part of ORM. What is ORM? Stands for object relational mapping. Correct. This ORM stands for object relation, relational mapping. Correct? Means what? This basically means that this concept, this ORM concept, allows us to run SQL queries without writing any SQL query. Sir, what are you saying? What I basically mean is Django provides us with this ORM concept where this ORM concept tells us, listen, you do not have to know any SQL queries. You just have to know some basics of Python. Okay, and using this Python only, you are going to create your queries. Okay, you will write your queries in the form of Python. Okay, rest of the things I will take care of. Okay, Django is saying this. Rest of the thing you leave it on me. I will convert your Python code into an SQL query and I will run it into our database. Understanding? Guys, are you understanding what I'm saying? What is this ORM and all? See, before what we did, if I wanted to create the table, correct? I wanted to do what? Create the table. Then if I wanted to create table, what I did I wrote create table name, and then those fields, their data types. Did I wrote any SQL query? Did you saw? Have I even touched any SQL query? No. What I did, I wrote this Python code, correct? I wrote this Python code. Yes or no? And then what I did, I ran migrations. Okay. And because Django provides us this feature, this ORM feature, okay, and because of this feature, Django can convert our Python code into an SQL query. We do not have to know any SQL syntaxes and all. Okay, understood? Understood. This is what this ORM concept tells us. Object relational mapping. That it is going to, you know, for example, let's say you want to get all the data. If I want to get all the data from my database, which query will you run? Yes. Tell tell guys, if I want to fetch all the data from my table, which query do we run? SQL query. Have you learned SQL? If not, then I will not ask you. But you have learned, right? Already. Correct. Select query, right? Yes or no? Select query to fetch all the data. What do we run? Select asterisk from the table. Correct. Table name we pass. But here we do not have to know any query. We are just going to fetch all this data in the form of objects only, because here are this my task, it may represent for a user. Okay, from now think from a user's perspective. Okay, think from user's perspective. From a user's perspective, this my task is a table. Correct, this my task is a table. They will think that we are running some SQL queries, actual SQL queries. But as a Django developer, this is still a class for us. Correct? Yes or no? This is still a class for us. Why? Because I can create object of this class. I can say my task. Correct? I can still create object of this class. Yes or no? So that means this right here, what is there, it is still a class. We call this class as a model. Okay, and with the help of this class and combining some ORM syntaxes. Okay, what is this ORM syntax and all? See, it is nothing a big rocket science. Okay, it is just simply calling some methods. If I want to fetch all the data, I will call one method called as all. If I want to get some specific data, I will call one method called as get, something like that. Okay, Now we are going to see all these things. Okay. Now, even before I start with that, yesterday we have created some data, correct? We have already created some data, right? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So up till here you understood like what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to achieve here is that we are going to learn CRUD operations. Okay. Without passing any SQL queries, we are going to do all the CRUD operations using the concept called as ORM, Object Relational Mapping. Basically, this concept tells us that we just have to write one Python code. That's it. And it is going to convert this Python code into a query. Okay. Now we are going to close all these things. Let us close everything. Okay. We'll close everything here. Now, when it comes to shell, that means we are only going to work with our terminal. Okay. We are going to work with our terminal. Now, which folder is this? To-do list. Which folder is this? Tell me. Check here. Which folder is this? Which folder is this? To-do list. Project root directory, correct? It's my root directory. So here we are going to open our shell. Yes. Here we are going to open our shell. Now you already have seen one type of shell, that is ideally shell. Also command prompt everyone have seen, that is also called as shell, correct? Here also this is also shell, but what we want is, now everyone, all of you know about this, right? If we type Python and enter, it is going to open us what? Python interpreter. Basically one shell it will open where we can run all these commands. It is just like ideally, correct? If I say print hello, it is going to print me hello, correct? True is greater than false. True, correct? Yes or no? All the Python syntax will run here. If I want to exit, I will type exit. Okay. Understanding what I'm trying to say, everyone? Yes or no? Okay. Now, just like this is this is what? This is Python shell, correct? This is Python shell. Yes or no? This is Python shell. I just type CLS, stands for clearing your screen. That was our Python shell. But if I want to open the Django shell, okay, where I can connect with my database, do some task and all CRUD operations I can perform using the shell. First, we will learn obviously using the shell. Okay. Now make sure everyone is sitting with a notebook. All of you are sitting with a notebook and noting down every command wherever, whatever I am telling you have to note down. Come on, I am giving you 1 minute. Grab your notebooks and sit. This is very important. Very, very important. And I would not suggest notepad, but I will suggest a notebook. Much better than having a notepad. I know you will never open that notepad file. Okay. So have a notebook. Done? Everyone done? Done, done, done. Okay. Fine. Now we need to get into this shell first. Correct? Our first step is to get into this shell. How do we do that? We are going to make use of Python manage.py, and then I will just say shell. Okay. The command we use to go to the shell is shell itself. Okay, we are just going to say python manage.py shell. As soon as I do that, what it is giving me? It is saying no interactive console. Correct? Console means what? Shell. Everything is same, which tells you to prompt something. Okay. This shell we came. Okay. Now, whenever you start working with the shell, always what we want to do, guys. Why did I tell you that we are going to do something on this shell? What is that? What we are going to perform here? I told you just now. Let's see. What are those commands? Like what I told you, we are going to perform that operations. What are those operations called? CRUD operations, correct? We are going to perform some CRUD operations. Now, on what we are going to perform these CRUD operations? On air, water, what is that? Table, correct? We are going to perform all these CRUD operations to our table. My task is inside this tasks models, correct? And inside this I have this my task, correct? So what I will do, I will say, from task dot models. What is the name of the app? It is tasks, correct? From tasks dot models, that means this app's models, I'm going to import my task. Okay, see, I'm not getting any error. That means it has been imported successfully. Understood up till here? Importing, everyone understood? Yes or no? Okay. So write down up till here. First step is to get into your shell, you are going to type this python manage.py shell. Okay. And then you better answer me or else I will go ahead. Okay. Now, okay, fine. See, now I imported this my task, correct? Now, out of this CRUD operations, I will not really teach you how to create for now. I'm not saying that I will not teach you. I will teach you the read operations first. Okay. Because all of you know how to create data in the admin panel, correct? Yes or no? You have already created the data from the admin panel, correct? You have also edited the data. You have modified the data. You have also deleted the data and displayed the data. So all the CRUD operations we have already done in the admin panel. Yes or no? Ways to fetch the data. Okay, we are going to learn the three ways to fetch the data. First one we have is to fetch all the data. Okay, now see, when it comes to ORM, we have three different ways to fetch the data. One is to fetch all the data. Basically, your select asterisk. Okay, when we say select asterisk query, that is nothing but are all the data. Okay, understanding what I'm trying to say? Select asterisk mean all the data. Okay, first one is to get to fetch all the data. Now see, listen, I want to fetch all the data. Read operations means what? Basically fetching the data and displaying. Yes or no? Kind of fetching the data only. Read operation means fetching the data. So in ORM or in Django, we have three different ways to fetch the data. See, in SQL also we have all these ways, correct? The first way we learned is to fetch all the data, correct? The first query which we learn is to fetch all the data, which is select asterisk from the table name. Correct? Select asterisk. That means asterisk is going to fetch the entire data which is present in our table. Correct? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Okay. Yes. Now pay attention here. Okay. To see what will happen now. Now to fetch all the data, we have one method called as all method. Okay. All of you understand what is a method? Do you guys understand what's the method? What is a method? Do you guys understand what is a method? Okay. So I don't have to teach you that at least. You don't know what is a method? Method means a function which is written inside a class. Okay. Now let us see how this all method works. Guys, this is very easy. If you are stuck in here and if you are just, you know, banging your head to learn this, that means it is very difficult for you. Okay. This is very, means it's just there in front of your eyes. You just have to learn it. There is no other alternative. Okay. Now to fetch all the data, what I will say data equal to, okay. Here we are going to fetch all the data. I'll say data equal to. From where I have to fetch the data? From this my task, correct? From my task I have to fetch the data. I better leave one line because you guys are, you know what I mean. So I'll say data equal to my task. Okay. I'll say this table name. Okay. Dot objects. Objects means rows. Okay. Don't get confused. Object means each and every object. We saw right yesterday. Correct. Yesterday we saw that day also that it was giving us my task object 1, my task object 2, my task object 3, something like that. So object means what? One particular record, one particular row data, correct? So so don't get confused. Object means a record, okay? So my task dot objects dot all. That's it. Write down this. My task dot objects dot all, and using this, now what we are doing, we have fetched all the data and stored it into this variable called as data itself. Okay, now we have fetched all the records from our my task table. Okay, now if I display it, let me display this data. Okay, I'm going to display this data. See, what am I getting? What am I getting here? I'm getting something called as query set. Correct? I'm getting something called as query set. What is a query set, guys? What is a query set? Not really, but a query set is a complex type of data. Okay, it's a complex type of data. You get it when you run any SQL query. Okay. The data which is fetched is in the form of a query set. Just like you have all other data types, like list you have, like tuple you have, set you have. Similar to that, we have one data type called as query set. Okay. So basically, this query set is nothing but a list of objects. Okay, it's a list of objects. See, my task object 1, my task object 3, my task object 4. Correct? Yes or no, guys? What do we mean by this? What is this query set is basically nothing but it is a complex type of data. See, query set is another type of data type. Okay, this is also some kind of data type itself. Okay, now it is also called as a complex data type because this query set data is a very complex data type. You get it whenever you run any SQL query. Okay, so if you run any SQL query, the data which you receive is in the form of query set. Okay, now let's say if you write something, if I say data equal to hello world, what type of data it is? If I say s equal to hello, is a type of string, correct? If I say 1 comma 2 comma 3, what type of data is this? It's a list. Similar to that, whenever your your SQL or whenever your database returns some data, it is in the form of a query set. Understood now what is this query set? And how does this query set looks like? It basically looks like, see, it's a list, right? It is a list of all the objects or list of dictionary also you can consider it. Okay, but basically these dictionaries we don't call them as dictionaries, we call them as objects. Understood? So basically query set is a type of data type which is complex. Okay, and you can call it as an instance of SQL queries. Okay, instance of database. It is an instance of database. That means you can get this query set only if you run some SQL query, only if you are trying to fetch some data from the database. And query dict means dictionary, nothing to worry about that. Query set means query set means it's a list of objects or a list of dictionaries. Okay, clear? Clear everyone, is it clear? Okay, good. Now you tell me that here, all of you noted up till here? Everyone noted up till here? Okay, good. Because I am going to, clear it. That's why. See, the thing is here, what we see, we are just seeing the object one, object two, or like object three, object four, something like that, correct? And if we want to see the actual data, how do we do that? What do we do? That is nothing. It is just a literal. Okay, that is not like greater than or smaller than symbol. It's not like that. It's not your comparison operator. Tell. Correct. We need to do what? We have to use the magic method, right? What I am asking you don't answer. Correct? Guys, what did I ask you? If we don't want to see it like this, instead we want to see at least the names of this task. What do we have to do? Correct. Magic method, right? We have learned about magic method. What is that magic method? str. Where we are going to write it? In here. Correct. I will say def underscore underscore str underscore underscore, and we will say self. Correct. We'll say self, and then I'm going to return name only. Self dot name. Okay, that's it. We will return. Let's see what happens. What if I type data now? What will happen? What should happen, guys, if I type data now? should display a list of names, correct? But see, it is not displaying. So what is happening here is, see, whenever you do any changes to your inside your str, any of this string method, or if you're writing any other magic method, then always you have to close this. You have to type exit. Okay, you have to exit from this shell first. Okay, whenever you do any changes, you have to exit from this shell. Okay, now to exit, we are just going to make use of this exit function. Okay, which is there for our Python interpreter also. Exit function. After that, I'll type again python manage.py shell. Okay, and here what we are going to do, here we are going to first again import from tasks dot models, import my task. Okay, I will do the same thing again, data equal to, now this is the first method, correct? All method, using all method. So I will say data equal to my task dot objects. This is a plural. Okay, it is not singular, it is plural. It has to be objects, not object. Make sure, do not make any spelling mistake, and blindly do not tell me for errors. Okay, so this is my task dot objects, and then dot all I will do. Okay, dot all. So that it is going to store the data in our data variable, and this is what we are going to get. Okay, now we got all the data, right? Yes or no? We got all this data now, correct? Yes or no, guys? Yeah. What if I want to see only the first element? Can I do this now? Just the first element I want to see. Okay, it is a list, right? List of objects, correct? I will say data of 0. Okay, see, I'm getting the first task, correct? If I say data of took, I'll get the books, correct? If I do data of -1, what should happen? See, in here, the negative indexing is not supported because it is an object. It is query set. Okay, it is not really a list, but it is kind of a list only. Okay, okay, here the negative indexing is not supported. Make sure, make a note of this, that whenever we are working with query set, the negative indexing is not supported. Okay, understood everyone? Understood this? Yes or no? Yes or no? Negative indexing is not possible, not supported when it comes to query set. Okay, yeah, done. Now we have this data, right? Data, if I print it, I'm getting it like this, correct? Now guys, everyone pay attention. Reason I don't know, Santosh, it is up to the developer who made it. Okay, where so if I print data, it is going to give me like this. Okay, 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 you guys note down fast. Okay, let me know when you're done. Dot objects dot all, here this is a very important thing. It is going to fetch all the data. Basically, it runs the select asterisk from my task. This query it is going to run. Okay, come on, speed up, speed up. It's nothing to write all these things. Just write that whenever you are going to print this data, it will print in the form of query set, and you can do only positive indexing. Okay, and when you try to do negative indexing, it is not going to work. Now we call it as a list of objects, correct? A query set is a list of objects. Also, you can consider this list of object as list of dictionary also. Ajit, very do it quickly, fast. I'm just telling you guys to note down, not to run it now. Afterwards, you do. We will only do read operations today, I guess. If you understand this, everything is good. Is it done? Everyone, is it done? Is it done, everyone? Okay. Okay, fine. Here, what I will do is, see, this data is a list of objects, right? We are just going to consider one object from this, okay? Let us consider this Django object, okay? How do I fetch this Django object? The first object, how will I fetch it? Tell me. I just want to fetch that particular object. How will I do that? Yes, data of 0, correct? Data of 0, correct? Now you consider this object, this particular object, as a dictionary. Okay, let us just consider this object as a dictionary. Okay, do not consider it anything else. Just consider it. Okay, it is not a dictionary, but I'm just telling you to consider it as a dictionary. Okay, now I don't want to print it in this form. Okay, instead I want to print only Django. I will say data of 0. Okay. Now, if I consider it as a dictionary, what other data it should have? Tell me. What is other data it is having actually? Tell me. Is it only having Django? What is this Django? It's the name, right? What other data it is having? Description, correct? It is having description as well as ID it is having. Now we saw, right, when it comes to Django, like in the DTL, how do we call any of the key? I want to write a key. Will it, is it possible if I pass like this? If I type name, I hope this type of syntax is you guys know. Okay. It's Python. It's normal Python. That is what it is. Writing Python only. If I do data of 0, okay, that means this object and this object of name. That means it should give me only Django, right? But see, it is saying that my task object is not subscriptable. Okay, it is not subscriptable. It's the same error we are getting when in our DTL we used to type uh, something like this in the subscript, correct? In this square brackets, whenever we used to write the name of the key, it was giving us same error. Now how, what is the syntax to do that? Instead of that, we used to write dictionary dot the key, right? We used to write this syntax. Yes or no? Do you remember? Yes. So what's the key here? I will say name. Okay. Dictionary dot name. See, am I getting Django now? What if I try something else like description? I'm getting description also, starting with Django models. If I type ID, I'm going to get ID also. Understood, everyone? Understood, everyone? Yes or no? Okay. Note down fast, which I'm using, that you have to note down. Okay. Now, second way is to fetch a particular data. Okay. Second way is to fetch a particular data. And in this method, fetching a particular data means what? Only one data you are going to fetch. Correct? Yes or no? Only one data you are going to fetch. Correct? Now, you must have seen that whenever we used to click on any article, it was fetching us basically that particular article. Only one article it was fetching us. Based on what? Based on what it was fetching us that one particular article, the exact same article. How it was fetching us? Using what? Tell. See, whenever we used to work on that article project, right? We worked on that article project. It was displaying all the articles. That means you can consider that at that place, all method is used where we are displaying all the articles. Now, if I click on any one of that article, then it was rendering me only one particular article, correct? One details of that particular article. Yes or no? Its heading, its description, how it was displaying on the basis of ID. Why ID? Because ID is unique, correct? Yes or no? ID is unique. That's why it was fetching us. So if I want to fetch one single element, only one single element, at that time we are going to make use of this method called as get method. Now this method works like this. Okay, select, you can say name and description from table where id equal to 1. Okay, now id is unique, right? This id is unique, and this query is going to fetch me how many data? Tell me. This query will fetch me how many data? Let's see who gets. Exactly. One data. It is going to fetch only one record or one data. one person's data, because here ID is unique and there is only one person with ID 1. So it is going to fetch me the name and description of that one particular data itself. Understood? So this is what this get method is going to do. It is just like the object, this all method. Now all method does what? It is going to fetch you all the data, but this get method is going to fetch you only one particular data based on the condition you give inside, or based on the parameters you pass. Understood? Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Okay. How do we use this? So now I will say data equal to, okay, I will say data equal to, let's see how many of you can come up with its syntax. How can I use get method? It is almost similar to all method. Type, type in the chat. How am I going to fetch? How am I going to utilize this? Use this get method. Let's say, let us see if you guys can really, if you are really smart. Come on fast. Properly, I want entire syntax. This is what you guys do in your mocks and all. When I say type the syntax, I want really the entire syntax. Okay, Abhishek, you are almost close. Like, entire thing is correct actually. App name, Omkan, do we pass app name there? Yes, Omkan, do we pass app name? Then, yes, you guys are almost close. Only Yashaswini has answered it correctly. So, see, we are going to say my task dot objects dot get. Okay, up till here everyone is correct. Inside here also, some of you have said ID, some of you said one, but we have to give the keyword arguments here. Okay, we have to give the keyword argument that I want to fetch the data which is having ID equal to, let's say, 1. Okay, I'm going to say ID equal to 1. I'll press enter. See, if I see the data now, what it should give me? Tell me, guys. How does this data looks like? What data it is going to give me? Tell me. Name and description. Object. Okay. Observe. What it is giving me? Directly the object. Correct? Directly object it is giving me. Yes or no? That means basically this, you can consider this as dictionary also. Correct? Now if I want to see the description of this data, what will I do? Tell me, if I want to see the description of this particular data which I have fetched now at ID equal to 1. Correct. It's a data dot disk. Correct? See, am I getting it now? Yes or no? Yes. Correct. Now we will move further. We'll have to discuss about get method. Now this get method is very unique. If this particular statement, if this particular condition is returning, let's say, more than one data, if it is returning more than one data, then it is going to throw error. And if this condition does not matches any of the condition, I mean this, whatever you are passing, this parameter does not matches any of this condition, then also it is going to give you an error. We will try it. We don't have id with 7, correct? We don't have any id with 7. If I try to press enter now, it's going to give me error. It says does not exist. Okay, my task matching query does not exist. Okay, so note down this point, that if the matching query does not exist, then it is going to give the error, same error. Okay, whatever we are passing inside this get function or get method, if it does not matches any of the condition, then it is going to give an error. Any of the data in the table, if it does not match, it gives error. Understood this? Understood? I hope you are side by side even noting it down also and not wasting my time. Okay, shall I move forward? Okay, so this was one of, yes, if the data is returned more than once, like more than one data is returned, then also it is going to give an error that I'm showing now. See here what it is giving me, it is giving me something like this, correct? Now we have some syntaxes. Okay, we have some syntaxes where you can create all these different types of filters. Okay, for example, I want to check whether name is equal to Django. Okay, we are going to try this. We'll see whether there is one name called as Django or not. Okay, see it is saying what matching query does not exist because here Django D is small, right? Django D is small. It should be capital. So this also you should know that it is case sensitive. Okay, it is case sensitive. See now it worked. No, look here. When I typed Django with capital D, it worked. Correct. And whenever I type data, it is giving me that particular data with Django. Yes or no, everyone? Understood up till here? Everyone understood up till here? Okay, what I will do is I will create some data, okay, with the same name. One more data I will create with the same name. Uh, I will create it quickly. I will not show you how am I going to create it. Just wait. One more task with the same name of Django. So how many I have? I have two, correct? Two tasks I have with the same name. Now when I search for name equal to Django, that means it is going to return me how many objects? How many objects it is going to return me, guys? Two, correct? It is going to return me two objects, and whenever if it returns more than one, that is here it is going to return two, it should give me an error. See what is the error. It is saying multiple objects returned. correct? So this get function, or this get method returned more than one my task. It returned how many? Two, correct? So get method will not support more than one like objects returning, and also it will not support if there is no object which is being returned. It has to return exactly one output or one object, compulsorily exactly one object should be returned. Okay, more than one also it is giving error, more less than one it is giving error. Okay, understood? Everyone understood this get method correctly? Everyone understood the get method? Yes. Now see here guys, there are different ways we can pass these arguments here. Okay, we have these arguments, right? Parameters. What I did, I directly passed it here. Now name equal to django, okay, and id equal to 1, something like this I directly passed. But if I want to see, like, I don't remember the entire name of the task. Okay, let's say there is one water something with w we have. Okay, but I don't remember the entire name of it. And how, what I am going to do, we have in operator, correct? Usually we have in operator, w in name, correct? W in name, yes or no? We have in operator, we can do this also, but this is a wrong syntax. Also in SQL we have one like statements, correct? We have like statement, yes or no? We can say name like, and we can give one pattern, correct? W something like this, yes or no? Similarly in ORM we have something like this. Name, you have to write the name of the field. In this case we have the name itself as name. Okay, underscore underscore contains. Okay, if the name contains what, you can give W. Okay, if the name contains W, give me the output. Okay, contains works like the like, that like operator. Okay, it works similar to the like operator. Okay, we don't have anything with W, we'll try with capital W. Don't have anything. What else? We'll try something like E. Okay, we have something with E. Okay, it's a good thing. Are you guys understanding what I'm doing here? This underscore underscore contains basically works like the like operator. Okay, understood? Everyone, see, we'll see the data. What is this? Okay, there is one data called as project, which is having E in it, correct? Yes or no? Yes, like operator you can say, or you can say it as in operator in Python also. Okay, almost the same. Understood? Everyone understood? Because we will move on to the next. Have you noted it? This syntax you can write. This syntax you can note down. It is easy, right? Read operation. Even the crud, all the entire crud operation in Python is easy. In Django, you are writing only Python code, which is you already know, correct? The same thing is there everywhere, same thing.